Okay, so at the moment of recording, Bitcoin is having a little pullback. Is it something to worry about? And what can we expect next for Bitcoin and altcoins? I would like to take a look at that. If you already feel like, hey, I'm gonna like this content, like the content, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on, and let's jump right into it. I wanna make this one a little shorter. Bitcoin, at the moment of recording, is sitting at $42,000, give or take. And if you look at it on the daily, it's nothing too worrying yet, if you ask me, because Bitcoin was in this uptrend that we have been in since December last year. We've rode this uptrend, as you can see right here at the beginning of this year. We bounced back in March, we bounced back in June, then we finally broke down in August. It turned really bearish for a while, but then Bitcoin showed an enormous amount of strength. And this line was pretty much resistance. It was flirting with it quite a lot, as you can see right here. And sorry, although we got rejected all the time, hey, the trend line is moving up, right? And so was Bitcoin, and it was showing so much strength. And at a certain point, it broke out, and basically in a matter of a couple of days, it went from $38,000 to $45,000 almost. And now we are seeing a little pullback, and it's just funny. Like I opened YouTube this morning, and I saw all kind of videos like Bitcoin pullback, flash crash, is it over? And I felt like, what the fuck is going on? I checked the charts, and I was like, okay, that's it. It's not that bad. Like, hey, we are basically retesting this uptrend right here, like we did here and here as well, and it was all good. Right, and even when we broke down below right here, it was still bullish. So yeah, no, I don't see the big problem at the moment, to be honest. Hey, but we can take a look like what could the price do next. So what I think is important if you are bullish on Bitcoin, that you want to see it hold. Sorry, I have the hiccups. Let's say $39,800. Let's say $40,000. If we hold $40,000, then there is nothing worrying, in my opinion, at the moment, and we are still in an uptrend. If we do break below this trend line, then we should take a look like, hey, what is the next big support level? And it is not that far from where we are right now, to be honest. The next big support level is kind of coming in at around 37.9, so let's say $38,000. Why? As you can see, we had major resistance over here. We had a lot of resistance over here, turned into support here and here for a very long time, and we had some big resistance over here for a couple of days as well. So, you know, that $38,000 level says something. It is a lot, actually. However, like Bitcoin showed, basically this whole year, there's resistance and there's support, but resistance is there to be broken. And support is there to be broken as well. Like, this is not the pullback that I've been, preaching about on this channel. I expect a pullback of at least, let's say, 40, why did I say 40? 34, at least. 34,000 at least. And we are now sitting at 42. So that's quite far away. But then again, you should remember nothing is up only, right? This year we went up, well, 190%. And we now have a pullback of 6. Like, is that it? That's not usually how it works. If you go up 190%, it's not that crazy if you have a big 30% pullback before you move on, right? Hey, and it's not that apart from what we have already seen so far. I mean, at the beginning of this year, we went up quite hard as well, and we came all the way down 22%. Later that year, we came all the way down 20%, and later that year, we came down all the way, again, 22%. Now, that wasn't even after Bitcoin's hardest run. We're really seeing the hardest run right now. So going down 30%, hey, how weird is it, right? And it's a good chance for the people that stayed on the sideline, maybe if they feel like, man, I missed out, or I don't know, I haven't bought enough, or that are just dollar costing, to buy a little more. It's perfect. It's good. It's healthy for the market, right? If we take a look at what Fibonacci says about this, if we take it from the last run, so this last run right here from the bottom to the top, Then what does Fibonacci says? Well, the first level comes in at around, well, $37,000. Kind of lines up with the level that I've drawn, and you could take it a little lower, of course. We have a lot of support sitting right there. We have some resistance sitting right here. So 37, yeah, is the big first level, and then we come into the golden zone, which is sitting like, and usually the golden zone is something that that's been achieved, right? If you use Fibonacci, the golden zone is something that a chart usually goes to, and that's coming in between $35,000 and $32,000 to round it up. So these are the big levels to look out for, this whole area right here. But yeah, in my honest opinion, if we do break down, then anywhere between 29 and 32, like worst case scenario. Bitcoin has run too hard for me to say like, oh, it's going to the lower 20s like I was expecting at the beginning of this year, to be honest. We could still see a black swan or anything, and it could still happen, but I'm not counting on it. Bitcoin had too hard of a run, and I honestly, the ETF is more priced in than I initially thought it would be. It's what we have seen, right? We have seen the fake ETF news in first instance, and Bitcoin was running quite hard because of it. But it never came down. People probably felt like, yeah, okay, whatever, it was fake news, but we will get the real one, so let's just not sell it because it is coming. And yeah, that's very understandable because it very likely is coming, the ETF. The odds are now like 90%, I think. So, hey, yeah, of course, it could be like 10% that it's not happening, but are you really betting your money on that? These chances are not really in your favor. Then let's take a look. Oh, by the way, before we move on, if we use the Fibonacci tool according to this latest correction that we have seen, then it is safe to say like, hey, if it goes down even further than 0.382 and 0.618 come in at around also $37,000, $38,000. If it really goes bad and it goes to the minus 1.618, that's $33,000. So more things are lining up with this area right here. It's not weird. Like if you look back in 2019 as well, where we had this run, like Bitcoin now went up 190%, right? Here we went up 330%. And we had a pretty huge correction. And I know this was COVID, but even without COVID, we had a correction of like 52, 53%. So that's without COVID, right? This was a normal correction after such a pump. So we didn't pump that hard, but therefore 30%, kind of 30% lines up. Plus, also, we broke out, we retested previous levels. We broke out, we retested here, previous levels. Again, but we broke out, but we haven't retested these previous levels. It also should be a normal retest that usually occurs. So I'm still betting some money on the fact that we go a little lower and we break this trend line at a certain point. I mean, this trend line won't go on forever. It's just not how it works, right? If you look anywhere, then it doesn't work like that. If you go back in 2019 as well, you can draw a trend line over here, for example. And at a certain point, we stop climbing and we go down. And then we may not go down immediately, but we go a little sideways. And you should feel like, hey, what is crypto, right? Accumulation phases, uptrends, distribution phases, and then downtrends, right? So once we get into such a distribution phase, if we get there, at least, then it should be a good sign like, okay, maybe it's time to take a little short-term profits because the market needs to cool off a little bit. But for now, it's still in an uptrend, even though we have this little dip right here. The Bitcoin dominance on the daily is going up a little bit, so altcoins are getting wrecked a little bit more than Bitcoin does. But also nothing too crazy yet. If we look at altcoins, and I just take a look at my DCA 2023 watch list, it's, whoa, this is a pretty huge holding of mine. At least it now is, because I've bought it quite low. But this one is mooning. But overall, you see -6, -2, -5, -5, -10. Like there are some actual pretty red numbers right now. But then again, it's nothing crazy. There are some exceptions. It's mainly a shift of liquidity because, for example, IMX is making new highs right now. And on the market cap, it is already making new all-time highs, by the way. But it's doing well. But if you, for example, take a look at CeDeFi, and also a coin that now has a correction from 470 to, well, 370, right? You'd be like, it has a correction of $1, right? But a couple of weeks ago, it wasn't even $1, so it couldn't even had that big of a correction, right? So now a lot of altcoins, they at least have the room to go down. If you look at Solana as well, Solana, yeah, it went from $77 to $67. Like you could say, it depends on how you look at it. You could say like, hey, let's buy the dip. On the other hand, I feel like, yeah, well, let's wait a minute, man. It went up 730%. What fucking dip are you talking about? It went up 730%, and you're talking about this 14% correction right now. It's not enough. Sorry, it's not enough for me. These are not the dips that I'm buying, and you know, maybe it will in a couple of days be high, but I think that at a certain point we will see a normal cool off, right? Like we always see in such markets, where things really tank 30% in a day, or maybe just very stochastic, like very linear, where it happens over a couple of weeks, and people be like, "Where the fuck's my money?" Because they bought the top, probably. But that's what we need to see. Again, if you look at price charts and you look at it like this, yeah, come on. You're still buying the top, basically, right? You're not buying a big correction. You're buying basically the top. So for Solana, I do feel like, yeah, okay, let's wait until it's sitting at $40, $50 again, and then we maybe can talk about taking some profits, allocating a little bit. But a lot of coins look way too parabolic. If you look at the RSI on the weekly, some are really flashing, right? Like flashing overbought. To be honest, it could be that like that for a while. Like Solana at the previous run, it was flashing overbought as well when it was sitting at $20, and eventually it went to 260, right? So it doesn't say much necessarily, but yeah, I do feel like things are really overheated, especially if you look where in the 4-year cycle we are actually right now, because we are not in the bull market cycle yet, right? If you take a look at Bitcoin, for example, and you know a little bit how the cycles work, then you can see like the white lines are the halvings. After the halvings, the real bull market starts. After the halving, the real bull market starts. After the halving, the real bull market starts. Usually before the halving, we have a way up and a way down before we really get the fun started, right? Here also, we have a way up, we have a way down. Now we had our way up. I don't see the way down yet, right? So could that still come? Then the halving and then bull market. So far, that's what always been playing out. And maybe this time is different, but yeah, it doesn't look that different to me. It looks awfully the same. And therefore, I feel like, okay, Bitcoin could have its run still to maybe upper 40s and then have a good correction. But I think there will be a very much better opportunity to actually buy altcoins. So, yeah, if we do take a look at the altcoin market right now, and again, I'm not looking too much at the total 3 like a lot of people do, because the total 3, let me draw it correctly, by the way, because this is not correctly drawn. Yeah. So the total 3 includes stables, right? But we are not trading stables right here. We are trading altcoins. So let's take a look at the others. Everything except the top 10. So no USDT, no USDC, no big caps like Solana, ADA, Doge, etc. It's looking quite bullish, to be honest, right now still. And again, I do think we will go lower. But for now, it's looking bullish. Why is it looking bullish? Well, we were in this range right here. We're the downside and the upside, right? And we broke above it. And what we did now, basically, is just retest this. So what was resistance is now looking to be support. And so far, it's working. So, hey, bullish so far. I do think we could eventually break that before we really have the big breakout and go to this level again. which would mean for altcoins a pullback of 25%, give or take. And hey, I mean, it's nice, right? If you can buy coins 25% cheaper, unless you are already fully into the market. But yeah, you shouldn't. It's understandable that this all happens because the S&P is quite close to making new highs, but it is sitting at some big resistance right now, which last time was July and it got rejected like very hard. More interesting thing is like the S&P, it's now worth $4,700, right? But a dollar is now not worth what a dollar was worth like 10 years ago. And therefore, you want to take a look at the money supply. And that's an interesting one, because if you do take a look at the S&P on the money supply, you will see this. And I'm going to put them on the monthly to make it more clear. The S&P hasn't made a new high on the money supply for more than 22 years right now. But it is now sitting at the actual high, right? Like it couldn't be more high. Like it's high, so high. It's Stowley shit. So that worries me a little bit, given the fact that there are two wars going on right now. That there is a lot of uncertainty about the recession. So I don't know, man. I feel like, hey, the S&P, given the current world circumstances, it feels weird to me that the S&P is now going to make a new high, right? Doesn't make sense. Could be, but in my opinion, doesn't make sense. So if it gets rejected, then hey, Bitcoin is going down with it. So either the S&P is getting rejected and Bitcoin goes down with it, or the S&P, despite the current wars and inflation and recession, etc., is going to make new highs for the first time in 22 years. Yeah, you tell me. You tell me. I don't know. If we overlay Bitcoin on this, let me take a look if we can make something out of that. So Bitcoin hasn't seen the full history of this, but if we do overlay Bitcoin on this, what do we see? Every time the S&P is quite high, it goes down, Bitcoin goes down. The S&P here, quite high, Bitcoin goes down. S&P here, quite high, Bitcoin goes down. S&P now, same level, Bitcoin goes up. Yeah, I don't know. It makes sense. USDT dominance looks like it's bouncing a little bit. This is what we have spoken about before. Like, hey, this is how much people have in USDT, and if it goes down, it means they are deploying it to cryptos, and therefore the market goes up. But now people are taking profits on this candle, so it looks like people are now putting money back in USDT, and that's exactly at this level right here. It's quite perfect on a closing basis, to be honest. Like, perfect. So yeah, okay. I don't know. The market is. I understand that people don't know what to make out of this market, and there are always people pretending to know. But let's be honest, it really depends on how you look at it, because the market has been really bullish the last couple of months, and it has shown incredible strength. But the market is also showing major macro multi-year resistances exactly where we are right now. Could that be like, there's a saying, right? Show me the charts and I will give you the news. The news doesn't matter. People now anticipate on, yeah, well, an ETF is coming, so this time is different. It's bullshit, bro. I can already tell you that. It doesn't matter. Because now an ETF is the news. But last cycle, we had a lot of news as well. But coincidentally, it did what every other cycle did as well. Anyway, cycle does what the cycle does. And so, hey, this is controversial, what I'm going to say, and I don't think it's going to happen. But based on the charts, it's showing bearish shit right now. Well, not bearish. It's showing some caution. Like, hey, there is something brewing, and it could have a good crash. Good. What could the news be? Rejected ETF? I don't know. Recession? Biden getting president again. Awful, right? Shouldn't think about that. So that could be. Or this time from now on is going to be completely different. But I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, if we do take a look at the others, so again, the altcoin market dominance, then you can see that this has been in an uptrend since basically 2000 and whatever, since ever, always, like uptrend. So altcoins are dominating the crypto market more and more and more. But like we spoke about a couple of weeks ago, as you can see right here, major resistance, major resistance, major resistance. Once we broke out, huge support. And again, earlier this year, major resistance. And now we're getting there again. What do you think is going to happen? It's going to function as big resistance. And it's exactly where we now get rejected for a couple of weeks. And it is not showing that's like every time we get there, it doesn't take long because you see these wicks, right? Every time we get above there, it's getting sold off right away. So it does show that the last couple of weeks, the altcoin market is kind of struggling to dominate more. So that could be a sign that the dominance will go up more. And what does that mean? Well, if the dominance goes up, the Bitcoin dominance, as you can see right here, with a perfectly drawn line right here, by the way. If the dominance goes up, then altcoins are going to get wrecked against Bitcoin. And, well, yeah, that's what we have kind of seen all the time so far. Altcoins, yeah, have been going down against Bitcoin. And it's like, yeah, it's trying to hold up, but like drawn right here, altcoin accumulation. All right. If you have Bitcoin, of course. So this is the altcoin market on its Bitcoin pair. So if you do have Bitcoin, yeah, then there's a very good chance that the altcoin market will come down to this point. I've been saying this for like quite long already, and I stick to that. I think that is going to happen. And that doesn't mean that altcoins go down on the dollar pair. If this move happens during a Bitcoin run-up, then altcoins could still do well. Last cycle, it happened during a Bitcoin downtrend. And that meant that altcoins got more wrecked than ever. And yeah, that could still happen. If you ask me, if you take a look at the altcoin market and you overlay it, you can see what I mean. As you can see right here, altcoins, this is the altcoin market right here. Right, this orange line. And once this got broken down, really from these levels, so kind of where we are right now, right? This is exactly where we are right now. We're doing the exact same thing. Once it got broken down, you can see this is where the altcoin market topped out, and it went from 20 billion to 10 billion. So altcoins got actually halved. That's the altcoin halving. So altcoins went like, yeah, in half. Now, it is kind of showing the same. We're down at these levels, and could this be where the altcoin market tops out and where we go in half? Yeah, a lot of things line up, but this all takes very long to play out. And therefore, if you watch this video right now and in a couple of days from now, you could be like, oh, you're wrong. Like, yeah, no, look back in a couple of fucking months, you moron. It's like this, all I'm looking at right now, it's on the weekly time frame, right? So one candle is 1 week. Hey, this move down could take like 20 candles, right? It could take a long time for this to happen. But it looks awfully the same. I spoke about this before in other videos as well, but we came down to this level, and if you add the bull market support band to this, you can see even more. Do I have it right here? I don't even have it right here. Fuck it. This move is quite the same, right? We came down, bounced right here, like here, went into an uptrend until we were at the bull market support band, got rejected right there, broke this downtrend, bounced a little while right here, and then broke down. Now, we broke the downtrend, came down, bounced a little, and maybe then break down. It is still very likely. Again, if that happens during a Bitcoin downtrend, then really, guys, 60% down on altcoins is still on the card. It's like easy, especially now, right? Because altcoins went up a lot. Like if you, for example, take a look at AVAX, just clicking something random, right? Like it just went up 330%. What is a 60% move down, right? It will take AVEX back down to $15. Why not? Why not? Right? Easy. And I'm saving some money for this because it's so beautiful. So many people are now aping into the market like, oh, let's buy the dip. You moron, I'm gonna fucking dump on you. Like the people that have like how do you say this? The people that are a little more patient know that if you just had a 300% pump and then a 15% dump, that is not buy the dip kind of dump, right? That's not a smart way to do it. And I'm gonna buy AVEX again. I've just sold it, and I'm gonna buy it again. When? Well, probably here at $22, right? And every time I say this, there are the comments like, "Yeah, well, good luck, staying poor." It's not gonna happen. Like, why not? Why the fuck not? It's like, it. No, it. You are so getting wrecked if it does happen, and everything is showing that it's like, I'm not saying like it will, but it is extremely likely. But it just takes a very long time for it to play out, and therefore you have to sit on your hands sometime. It's December, it's warm, it's nice. Sit on your hands, goddammit. Like, I would say have a little patience, and it would really pay off. Like, plus, like, let's say, right? Let's take AVEX as an example. If you have 10K right now and you feel like, oh, FOMO, YOLO, up only, ETF, news, blah, 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 buy, right? So you buy AVEX right now. Let's say it goes back to its all-time high. Congratulations, you now have 40K. Okay. What if you are sitting with the same 10K, right? And you just wait, right? And you see it go down to $22. And it even breaks a little below to 16, right? And you start to dollar cost in these areas. So your entry is somewhere at $18 on average. And you then go back to the all-time high. You're sitting on 70K. That's like, for someone who starts with $10,000, that's 30K difference. That's 3 times your current net worth. That's a big fucking difference. And all you have to be is a little patient. That's all you have to be, right? So I would recommend exercising patience in this market because, yeah, again, like, we don't have a lot of data, but every Bitcoin cycle that we had so far, we had a dump after the pump in the pre-halving year. We had the pump, we had the dump. We had the pump, we had the dump. We had the pump, we had the dump. Now we had the pump. I don't know, man. If you say like, yeah, well, but this time is different, go ahead. And I mean, it's not like you have to pick one or the other, right? It's not like you have to sit on the sidelines. Like some people try to sometimes think that I'm saying that. That you should not buy anything, and don't be on the sidelines. You're an idiot if you're all in or all out of the market. Really stupid. But you can be a little in the middle, right? Save some money for if it goes down, and have some crypto in case it goes up. That's like the best thing you can do, right? But expect both. Because this up only is nice. But believe me, last cycle, look, we did 190% pump, right? 190. People are so bullish right now. Fear and greed index is exploding. Look at the last cycle. Again, we did 340%. Do you think people weren't bullish over here? People were screaming, bull, 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 bull market alt season. And then what happened? People bought at the top and got wrecked with 70%. Like, it's so written on the wall. So let's just wait a little bit to see how it goes. I'm expecting a good correction. Short term, nothing to worry about. Medium term, and what do I mean by that? Between now and the halving, big fucking correction that's gonna wipe every motherfucking new crypto investor out of the market. And shit, it's underwear 10 times. Like, that's gonna suck. Long term, yeah, extremely bullish on crypto. Always, like, crypto is here to stay. And man, Satoshi, I just want to thank you because thanks to Satoshi, I were able to buy this. I just want to show you and motivate you guys a little bit. Yeah, well, it's not exactly this one, but yeah, this is what I've bought, right? So, Satoshi, thank you very much for your innovation that made me able to buy this piece of shit instead of the other piece of shit that I have right now. These are not the priorities in life, of course, but it is something that I feel like, hey, man, um, I'm proud, man. I'm proud, and I can look at this and be like, "Yeah, that's mine, man." It's so I have to wait a couple of days before I can get it, but I love it, man. And you know, I got some comments on the Telegram like, "Hey, is it smart to make such expenses right now?" No, but I'm fucking impulsive. I will never recommend you buying something like this right now. On the other hand, hey, I've been taking so much profits lately. I've been making so much money in the last couple of months, and I wasn't even big time invested. So I feel like, man, I've taken my profits. And instead of holding it in USDT, which is more risky than a car, right? I felt like, man, I'm gonna buy a car. And if the market does crash, I can always sell that fucking car, right? I'm trading cars for crypto. It doesn't matter. Can always do that. Is the car worth less than? Yeah, but I know crypto can crash harder than cars. At least, yeah, it depends who's driving it. If I'm driving it, well, that's all not relevant for this video. I'm boring you with my stupid personal stuff. So, guys, thanks for watching. If you like the content, like the content. If you don't like the content, because I am very opinionating about the market and that it should go down, etc. Hey, let me know. It's good, man. It's fine. I'm just looking at the charts and I'm just looking like, hey, I mean, so far that's what happened, right? So far that's what happened every time. So it isn't stupid to say that it now can also happen. Let's be realistic here, right? Okay, well, whatever. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Let me show the Patreon. That's down below. Follow Alex Becker, his wallet, for example. Go, you know... what's the right word again? Front run some assholes around you. If you see that he's buying something, hey, buy it, right? Be a moron and just follow someone who does shit on the internet. It's been working for me at least. Made me able to buy an Audi. I'll see you guys. Bye bye.